Hey guys, I don't even know what to say in the intro because normally I'd say welcome back, but I don't know what the hell's going on. There's a random detour episode that we just plucked out of nowhere because John's clearly at the Giro d'Italia. We've got a very special guest, Pieter, the Ween dog, Weening. We've got a lot to unpack for the Giro, but before we start, there's been a lot of rumours and innuendo, Johnny, as to why the detour has not been on, but we've always been honest on this show. And the truth of the matter is we're obviously pretty busy guys, but we run out of sponsors. And it sort of reminds me of that scene out of The Simpsons. Remember when Krusty hit rock bottom? And he was on the side of the road and had a sign up, "We'll drop pants for food." It sort of feels like where we're at the moment, but we do have the Tour de France coming up. Remco Evenepoel, he's out of the Giro now with COVID. Geez, it's going to be a cracking Tour de France. So we may be able to do a bit of a comeback and start planning for that.
Yeah, I don't think Remco will ride the Tour de France marathon. I'm sure he won't. So that's not his plans for next year. And Pieter can maybe talk about that. But, yeah, look, what a day. I mean, after the first stage, he dominated by that much. Everyone predicted he would win this time trial by 2 minutes. And then the day before the time trial, he showed first signs of some weakness on the final climb in a wonderful stage, amazing stage. And then he still won the time trial yesterday, but you could see he wasn't right. Looking at him, he looked really tired. He had bags under his eyes. He still won it, only by 1 second, but yeah. But
he looked cooked.
Yeah, he looked cooked. You look at him there. That's not the Remco we've been watching demolish everybody.
People flag that he looked cooked, but if I'm honest, that's how the Ween dog used to look most days. Would you agree, Pete?
Thank you, Dan. Thank you.
Well, people mightn't realise we've got Dutch royalty here, one of the great cyclists and many years rider with Orica Green Edge in the old days, the Green Edge team. Yeah, there he is.
Great photos. Stage 9, 2014. Remember it well because my old man won about $600.
Yes, and I was in the following car behind him because it was my birthday, so I remember it well as well. And yeah, very, very smart stage win. He's a champion, and now he's a director sportif with Jayco AlUla and doing a great job. Gives me the best bottle points so that I can give the bottles and still get to the finish. He looks after me really well, Ween dog.
How you found the transition, Ween dog, into the DS role?
Well, yeah, I had after my career, I had 1 year off a little bit, and then Whitey phoned me and he asked me if I wanted to do this job, and well, yeah, like race tactics and stuff like this. Yeah, we have a lot of knowledge, of course, but behind the scenes, you also have to do quite a bit of stuff. And that was actually something new, but in the end, it worked out well for me. So no, yeah, I'm feeling comfortable and. Well, yeah. It's how it is. You roll into a new job, and then life continues. Yeah.
Well, as a rider, you had no time for bullshit. Let's be honest. How do you go as a DS when riders are coming at you with all these issues and that, and you're never a guy to sweat the small stuff? How often do you have to go, bah, pull your head in, stop whinging? Is that common?
Well, I still have the same sort of mentality. That's never going to change, but. Yeah, it's what it is, like sometimes guys are worried about real small things, like like you have to keep in mind it's a bike race, like you start at point E and you finish at point B, and who's the first one across the finish line wins the race. So yeah, that's as simple how it is, but there's a lot of things going on behind the scenes as well, like the sport is it evaluated in real professional sport, like with all marginal gains and stuff like that. And also 10 years ago, we already started with it, but now it's on a different level for sure.
Well, you've obviously had some success already. It was a brilliant stage win with Michael Matthews. And I saw the interview you did, Iffy, with him leading up to the race where he's going, look, my prep wasn't great. He had a few little setbacks. What, did he have COVID at one point as well?
Yep.
And he said his form wasn't where he wanted it to be, but in classic Bling style, when he turns it on, he turns it on.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah, he had at the start of the year he had COVID, and then of course he had a bad crash in Tour of Flanders, and that was the thing that set him back a little bit. But afterwards he went straight to altitude camp. He did Frankfurt, a 1-day race on the 1st of May. He did before the Giro, and well, yeah, straight away he's in good shape. So he's one of those guys. Actually, he comes from altitude, doing a good training block, and straight away he's ready to race. But you also have riders, like who needed to do a couple of races before. But he's he's a good example of a guy that comes straight away down the mountain and is ready to race.
Yeah, I remember Dave Sanders saying that he was one of the most naturally talented cyclists he ever got involved with in the early days. He's just so much natural talent, and that's what shows when he does things like that. Like he staged in last year's Tour de France, changed what people thought he could do, and that win the other day was a ripper. He hit early in the sprint, let them out, and they couldn't get by. It was a wonderful stage.
Well, yeah, and also it was like as a team, everybody gave him a lot of trust as well. So we took it up from the start. Yeah, we took it up from the start. Everybody was all of the guys had only one goal in mind, is set him up for a good position on the bottom of the climb. We were making the pace on that climb, so and make it hard for the other sprinters. Bling is such a talent. He can survive. He can survive a hard climb as well and still do a good sprint.
Yeah.
Where many of the other sprinters, they're getting dropped. And so this was actually a real good stage for him, and we knew it already before, and everybody was committed to it. And when you make the plan already weeks before, Dave was in charge of all the tactics and stuff like that. But he already knew and already told everybody this is going to be his stage. If it works out well like that, that's perfect. It's like that's how we wanted it. Whole the day we controlled the race and we finished it off. Yeah, it's just perfect.
There's obviously been a bit of a shift with the team in the last 11 years now. It feels like it's gone quick. But in the early days, it was like you go to these Grand Tours and you're hunting for stages, and I used to love that because it took this element of pressure off, and then it sort of morphed into the GC where every day you got to be on. Obviously, this year you've got Dunbar bopping around at the pointy end, but is it more that feeling of it feels like it's going back where you can preempt, go for stages? You can have stages where you can say to riders, look guys, just shut it down today, recover. Do you find that a little bit more enjoyable than the sort of stresses of the GC side of things?
Yes. Personally, yes. If you have a complete GC team, that means you can see it now with for example Jumbo team or Ineos. They are not sending guys up the road, they're all waiting till the last week, the last 8 days, when the mountain stages are coming, and save the guys for that. And for us, it's a little bit different. We have Eddie here, but Eddie is not a big contender for the podium, so he's not a big threat for the big guys. And also in our team as well, we keep him pretty relaxed, our goal is to put him in top 10. If that happens, it would be really nice. If he's just outside top 10, it's good as well, and that's also, there's not a lot of pressure on his shoulders. This is his first big Grand Tour for us with him. He's doing well so far, but we are mainly here for hunting for stage wins, and what we did the last couple of days, and we continue with that, and we give Eddie support while we can, but it's not like we're riding him around through the bunch like a Roglic or an Evenepoel, for example. So it's still really low key, and that's also good for him. If you already give him straight away full pressure on his shoulders, you have to do this and this. Yeah, maybe that's not at the right moment, not yet.
Iffy?
Yeah, I was just going to say, you guys have done a great job. That stage win of Bling's, the way the team rode was amazing. And then Filippo Zanna, the Italian champion. Really good third place 2 days ago on a very tough
yeah,
day.
the Marquis, of course, the Marquis with Clarkey.
The Marquis and Clarkey, wow. Fancy getting
I was
caught.
going to say
200 metres to go.
And Clarkey was absolutely shattered.
Yeah.
There was some emotional scenes after the finish there, and you're obviously there at the bus. What was the mood like post race?
Yeah, it was hard for me to know who to barrack for, actually, because DeMarchi is riding with Jayco AlUla, and you know how close I am with Clarkey.
Mate, you just flip and flop. You would have just waited, and whoever won, you would have ripped your jacket off, put your shirt on inside out, and you would have been
exactly.
all
I would have prostituted myself, but look,
100%.
they really committed. They were, because they're good mates. They were teammates just last year, where Alessandro was with Israel as well, and so they just knew what they had to do. They committed. They probably made, they would both
committed until the point they needed to commit.
Yeah, 1 kilometre to go. Yeah, well, look, DeMarchi's not really likely to out sprint Clarkey, and Clarkey, they both hesitated that fraction. Bang, they were done. Yeah, they couldn't hesitate, which they did. But you know what? It's been a really interesting Giro so far. I think you're spot on there, Pieter, in that I think for Eddie Dunbar's future, he needs to ride for the GC. He needs to see how he can go. You know, with Ineos, now he didn't get, he rode one Grand Tour, but was just doing odd jobs. Now he has a chance. I think he can finish top 10. I can think he can finish around the 6th or 7th mark, which would be wonderful for him and his growth as a GC rider. He needs to do that, and you can do that without, as you say, you don't have to look after him. He just sits there, follow Ineos. Can't go wrong. Exactly. Or Jumbo, one or the other. But
Yeah. You also never know what's going to happen if Evenepoel pulled out already. So maybe after tomorrow he's already in top 10 without doing anything at all.
Yeah. Well, I remember one year, Weendog, you as a rider used to love being in that position where you could pinpoint stages and then you could sort of pick the lead up and go, all right, I'll rest on this day or whatever. But then one year they threw a curveball at Greenwich. I think they wanted you to ride GC. So it's fascinating the transition as a DS where you go, no, top 10, it's a great result. Because I remember as a rider, you go, I finished 8th to 10th. No one gives a shit.
No. I always was saying, if you finish in double numbers, so above 10, nobody gives a thing anymore. And if you can finish off a Grand Tour in top 10, that's really great, But actually, honestly, I think I never had the capabilities to finish off a Grand Tour in top 10. I was more a sort of rider that could go like for 1 week stage races or for hunting after stages. And also with a Grand Tour as well, you need to stay focused for almost a month. If you want to go up the road, you're going to waste a lot of energy one day, and you're gonna it's going to set you back for a couple of days after. So it's also and nowadays as well, if you want to be a real GC rider, you have to be a sort of a freak almost, with weight, with everything, you need to be a freak, maybe I was not a real freak. I don't know.
Yeah, you were a freak in different regards, but that's why I used to like hanging out with you, mate. We've got a few live comments. If they're back, I thought we'd struggle to get anyone to tune in, but the diehards. Ian Thomas, he says, "Hey boys, nice to see you, sponsors or not." Andy Matthews says, "Great to see you back." Guavins No Egg, yay, you guys are back. Michelle says, "Great to see you guys. COVID is on a huge wave around the world again and inevitably affecting the Giro. We've talked about this in the past. What can racers do to protect the riders, and do they just get to the point where they go, okay, I think we were talking at one point, if there's minute cases of COVID and it's a positive, they can still ride. Is that still correct, or is it just blanket, you're positive, you're out?"
Well, no, not really. I think it's more the decisions of the team itself. But if you have a positive case in your team, you don't want the others to get infected as well. Obviously it's a virus, so you're not going to perform any better if you have COVID. So And that's the thing, like if you have COVID, it's the best thing to do is like send somebody home, and hopefully the rest of the team stays fit.
Yeah. A few more comments. Free Ranger says, good to see you. I was wondering what happened. Gavin B, good to have you boys back. Maybe Dan needs to sell himself on that popular adult website to fund it. I don't know what you're talking about, Gavin. I don't get on adult websites, so there's no help there, mate. Free Ranger says, cycling's great, but iffy. Have you been sampling some good vino? That's the thing they love about the Giro is your food reports.
Yes, we have, and Pieter is always very keen to try a new one wherever we go. So we do normally have a couple together. And last night we might add a couple more. It was very good because it's a rest day today, of course, and we're just out of Bologna, and Vazzy and I are about to go for a ride. So Vazzy has been very good. If I turn this around, you can see there he is. The Vaz machine. He's doing a great job.
This is why we had to do it in the morning, because normally he's asleep.
Normally just see his feet. But he's had to do yesterday in the time trial. We were following Michael Matthews, and he had an issue. His chain came off and couldn't get it back on. So we had to do, I'm driving and Vazzy is the mechanic. It's not actually his forte, but wow, what a job he did.
Well, he gave him the bike, but the commentators were very critical. We can't obviously show the vision, but they said, and it's obviously.
I said didn't I send you a photo?
You did say, yeah. But, I didn't want to throw Vazzy under the bus, but they were very critical of the time it took Vazzy to get the bike off. I know it's not his job.
No, actually, they shouldn't have been, because that wasn't there was a few critics. Not about he got the bike off very, very quickly, got it to him, but the push he gave him was a little bit weak. But,
it was weak. He did not want to get dirty fingers. That's what it looked like. It was try to avoid getting any sort of grime. But
Michael
he got
was
the job
very,
done.
very appreciative. Very appreciative. Luckily, Michael was just doing a steady ride.
It was a fast bike change, huh?
Yeah, it was a fine.
It was a real fast bike change. So he did really well, like to get a bike off the roof and then give it to Bling. He did really well.
You can almost exploit that because Bling is such a generous guy and he's got deep pockets. I'd be hitting him up for some sort of iPad as come on, Bling. What can you give me?
He's probably listening right now. Actually, we'll see a message come through from Bling shortly because he often jumps online with the Trevorrow. I think they're just getting ready to go for a ride.
Yeah. Ian Thomas got a question for Ween Dog. He says it would be great to see Eddie in a break one day. Any plans for that, Ween Dog? Reckon Eddie will get in a break? Or his Wi-Fi's cut out? Yep, you're there, Pete.
Yeah, I'm back again. I read the question. Well, we have to see the last week how everything unfolds. For now, it's not a smart idea to send him up the road. He's only on 3 minutes something in GC, they're not going to let him go. They're not going to give him like 10, 15 minutes or something.
This is the old GC when Remco was there.
So 317.
Take 45 seconds off all
that. 45 seconds off,
yeah.
Yeah, so it's a little 3 minutes. So they're not gonna. He's not gonna have a lot of. If he's in a breakaway, for now it's not gonna work. But we will see. One day maybe, hopefully not. If he's having one day a bad day or something, the next days we can use him then to send him up the road because his shape his form is good. But for now, it's not a good idea to send him up the road. No.
So this is the updated GC with Remco out iffy. Obviously, we've got Geraint Thomas now in the Maglia Rosa. Roglic is only 2 seconds behind. You've got Gaygo and Hart at 5 seconds behind. What's going to happen there? Obviously, they're going to be riding for G, or they've got two options.
Well, they got two options, of course. It's better to have two options later on in the Giro. They can play with cards. If it stays like this, it's actually the best. They are the strongest team here in this race. So that's they can take advantage of it for sure. So it's better they stay all both of them up there. That's for sure. That's the best for them.
So there's three teams that have got that a double opportunity. Of course, Ineos, who are the strongest team at the moment as well, not just that they've got two riders within a couple of seconds of each other. They're very strong. But also UAE, you've got Almeida, who's sitting there fifth, or I think he might have even got the fourth now.
This is the old one.
Yeah, and also Jay Vine, who's 10th. Who just lost a little bit of time with a couple of incidents. So who's still a real chance to get a podium in this bike race from Jay Vine. He has looked very, very strong. He said he wasn't really good on the climbing day the other day. Did quite a good time trial. He and Almeida are both very strong. And, of course, also the Bora guys with Vlasov, who, is probably the better GC rider. But what's his name? Kamner, our mate Lenny Kamner, who is having his first real go for GC. He's decided that he's a GC rider. So we'll see how he goes. So you've got those three teams all with that two-pronged option.
Now, the big question is stage 10. Where are you going to put the bottles, Ween Dog? You got a few choices to make there, mate.
Yeah, there's not a lot of... just before I hopped into this podcast, I was looking at it because the Swannies were already asking for bottle points. Yeah, tomorrow it's actually going to be a hard one. So we can do one after 40, something like this, and then after 170 I found one. But we need to do a feed zone as well, somewhere in the middle part of the race. Well, I'm going to have a look at it when I finish this podcast with you guys, where we're going to put the points and who we're going to put on that. But for Iffy, Iffy, which point for you is the best, you reckon?
Where they going the slowest?
Mate, long as you give me a little escape route to the finish, as you always do, go wherever you want, mate. Razzie and I are just here to play.
But you didn't have a look at it yourself.
No, I haven't looked at the escape routes yet, so that's true. I normally wait until you send me. You do it for me, Pete. So I'm good with whatever you do.
You're always having the easy life, John. Everybody's doing the job for you.
Now we do have a question, Iffy, that says from Gavin Bay. Iffy, any truth to the rumours that Piper might be heading our way? Now, before you answer it, we've got a video here that we can play where you interviewed Brent Copeland at the time trial yesterday.
So, Brent Copeland, General Manager, Jayco AlUla, you have some interesting news with a new Australian connection.
Yes, we do. Very exciting news. I think, to have someone as knowledgeable and experienced as Alan Piper come onto the team is very exciting for us. It's something that I think any team would look at as a huge asset, and with the knowledge that he has, then he's able to bring to the team, I think will really be a big asset for us. We've already got a team that's working really well, and to bring someone in that can bring even more knowledge is really exciting for us.
Yes, he's an amazing guy, Alan. When I was a youngster racing pro in Europe, I can remember as a junior when he started, and he hit with a real bang over there, racing Eddie Plankett back in those days. And he went on to be a very good professional, but and one of the best domestics in the business. But it's been his role as a team manager and DS, and overall, what he did with UAE and Pogacar has shown he's got a lot of talents in a lot of areas.
A lot of areas, and just the wealth of knowledge and experience. He's really meticulous in everything that he does. He's very precise. He's a perfectionist in his job, and I think he really wants to succeed. And bringing this on board and having him as an advisor, which is going to be his role, and supporting us in different areas because he's got so much knowledge in different areas is definitely something that we're excited to work with, learn from him. And in today's cycling, you've got to continuously looking at improvements. Changes are inevitable. Changes are happening all the time. If you're not going to look for improvements, you're going to lag behind. And to stay up there, you've got to look for improvements. And having someone like Alan come on board is definitely going to help us make those improvements. So yeah, looking forward to getting him stuck in and working together.
Yeah, it'll be great. He only has one real failing in that he barracks for Richmond football team. But other than that, it's very good.
Well, I won't make any comments on that before I get myself into trouble. But yeah, no, very, very exciting times for us.
Good luck, mate.
Thanks.
All right, that was Brent Copeland chatting about Alan Piper, but I will give you a bit of a critique there, Johnny. You can't help yourself. Every time you ask a question, you got to talk for 45 seconds about yourself instead of just keep pumping the questions along. Unbelievable. I'm sitting here going, wow, back when I was riding in the days and linking it to Piper, mate, come on. You still do it.
I'm going to pump my own tyres up. You'll never pump my tyres up for me.
No, I got to keep you grounded. But no, that's a really big signing. That's a really big signing in terms of an advisor role. As you said, wealth of knowledge, and you got to sit back and look at what effect he's had on different teams, Ween Dog, and it'd be good to have that extra sort of manpower to go through. As you said, it's all about marginal gains now.
Yeah. Well, I think like if you see what he did the last couple of years in Team UAE and also before with with HTC and like he was one of the guys that built those teams up, like with all the things and also if you hear the stories about in the tour, like when Pogacar won, like keeping him quiet and stuff like that. So, well, yeah, it's great to have him on board and somebody who's already years and years and years working on this level for sure. It's a big step for this team to have him on board.
100%, Iffy.
Yeah, no, in furious agreement there, Wendog. No, he will be great. And look, I think I was surprised that he didn't stay with UAE last year. He hadn't been really well. We knew that with Alan, but he's going quite good at the moment. But I just thought if he hadn't been involved with UAE at the Tour de France last year, he would not have let Pogacar ride the way he did. He just spent too much energy, almost like it was bulletproof. And there's no way that Alan Piper would have let that happen. But anyway, we've got him now. He's come on board. I had a good chat with him yesterday, and he's keen as mustard. Yep,
be looking forward to it. So what's the accommodation like at the moment, Iffy?
Oh, mate, this is 5-star.
The people have noticed that it must be good Wi-Fi. And Daly is Iffy and Ween Dog sharing Wi-Fi. Good Wi-Fi. Well, I think they are. They're in the same hotel.
Same hotel. Yeah.
We just had breakfast together. Different rooms now, though. This is the best hotel for the Giro so far. We've got a couple of rippers.
If you're lucky, you are lucky that your Wi-Fi is good here because you're still like using Australian service here in Europe, so it's going to cost you a couple of $100 if you come back.
If he always just goes to the telecommunication ombudsman when he gets back with these $3,000 bills and plays dumb, and then that doesn't work on the phone, but when they meet him in person, they go, "Oh, okay," and then he gets away with it. So that's the trick. All right, you guys are going to go for a ride. Now, before we wrap things up, just summarise. You had a quick chat with Luke Plapp. It goes for 7 minutes, but he's obviously had a couple of little setbacks. What were the keys out of the chat you had with Plappy, Johnny?
Yeah, so Plappy had a great start of the year, racing UAE Tour, where he really was, showing, what he could do with the Venipol and everything. And remembering, how well he started the season, winning the national title again. Then he had some incidents, but just last week racing in Tour of Hungary, first day, he crashed heavily with Bernal. They both went down. Bit of skin off, but he got concussion, so he's had to pull out of Tour of Hungary. Hopefully, he will go to Norway for Tour of Norway, which starts soon, and then ride Tour de Suisse. But it's all about the World Championships for him. He really wants to. He believes that it's a World Championship course for bling, and he'd love to be in there to help him.
All right. Well, stay tuned. It's going to be a big build-up. Enjoy the rest of the rest day, Ween Dog. Get those bottle points sorted. I don't know what you've got on for the rest of the day. Just go sample some Parmesan cheese wheels or bit of homemade pasta.
Razzie and I are about to head out on the bike. We're going to take full advantage of this rest day. We haven't, with all the rain of the last few days, we haven't done much on the bike. But today's the big day. We'll do a couple of hours. And
you're enjoying the Italian kitchen, eh?
Yeah. Of course he does.
They both their animals, man. They're eating everything. Faz was down with a food poisoning thing, like it's like they eat everything.
Careful, stage 13 to 16 is when if he goes down hard. Just one day is some sort of food poisoning, or he hasn't washed his hands properly, or something will happen. Where he will get cooked.
Vazzy's been the one who got sick. He got food poisoning one day. He was a bit grumpy in the morning. He was blaming me for.
Well, that's why he didn't want to get his fingers dirty on the bike change. He's just paranoid now.
But be careful with the bottles for the boys. Be careful with the bottles for the boys. So wash your hands before.
Wash your hands at least once a day, John.
No, we do that. We're very, very conscious of the old COVID, but this is amazing Giro, really, because to think all that's happened so far, and we're just onto the first rest day. It seems like we've been going for a couple of weeks, but we've got nearly 2 weeks to go. So, we've got some solid days coming up, and the last week of this Giro is a monster. And
we'll check in again on the next rest day. We'll commit to that so that we can commit to doing some sort of regular shows again without cooking the goose for free.
Yes. We'll do that. We'll definitely do the next rest day. So you're not going to show the Plappy thing? I know Plappy was really wanting to see that.
Nah. It's all good. We've hit the 32-minute. We've come back. We don't want to cook the goose. 32 minutes. And then we'll be back again on the next rest day.
SBS have shown that anyway. So Australia will have seen Plappy. So we're good.
Mate, he won't care. He'll be fine. He doesn't care about anything other than riding fast. All right, good on you, Ween Dog. We'll check in again soon.
No worries.
See you guys.
It was a pleasure, guys. Okay, see you later.
Yeah, thanks, bud.
See you guys.
No worries.
This is the winning ride of the Tour de France.